You're listening to Sports Jam, recorded April 9th, 2012, episode 32, Master Your Opening Day Hockey.
I'm Chad Cetera. New York is undefeated. New York is winless.
And I'm Rob Steele. Yeah, Brock Lesnar's back, but if I have to listen to John Laryngitis and Michael Cole every show, I'm not going to watch him.
Hello and welcome to I guess you could call it a short-handed edition of Sports Jam this week. Rob and I...
No, the economy version.
Yeah, I like that, economy version. Speaking... You said it right off the bat.
We get better gas mileage.
We do get better gas mileage, but, Major League Baseball needs to figure out a way to get better gas mileage, too. Explain something to me, Mr. Baseball Insider. Opening night. Oh, wait, never mind. Opening night was in Japan.
Which one?
Yeah, Japan in the first night. They screw it up. And
Opening morning.
Yeah, they don't play it on television. You have to watch the rebroadcast. The Major League Baseball gets flack about it. Then they have their second game live on television starting at 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. Sure glad I wasn't in Oakland or Seattle, which those two teams were, because the game started at 1 o'clock in the morning for them. Great. So glad that my teams got to play in Japan the first couple games. And then it was, this past week, opening night in Miami, where the defending World Series...
Nice new stadium, by the way.
It was a nice stadium, but I don't understand where Major League Baseball wants to get back into the pastime of American sports, and you have the defending World Series champions starting on the road on opening night, and then, not to mention they fly out that night just to go to another series right after that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they're thinking when they came up with this schedule. I mean, okay, not airing the first game in Japan live. I actually do get that. Who's going to be up that early?
Nobody.
It's not done for American audiences. It was done for Japanese audiences, and a majority shareholder of Seattle is in Japan. Okay, fine. Make the owners happy.
I was
That's what they're
on the
doing.
home team then.
Because they smoke crack. I don't. There's white lines that go from home plate to the fences, and I'm pretty sure it's not all paint and chalk. Yeah, that doesn't make
you
a whole lot of sense. But
now, we're going to be in trouble with this show. You know that.
But that's okay. I can cut it. You ever notice that? Whenever you hear someone say, "Oh, we'll cut that bit," it's always left in. Yeah. Anyway.
But you can keep it in there. It's all good because, you're right. They're smoking crack.
There's something horribly wrong about that. And I guess, just to add to it a little bit, they got caught flack for not airing it live the first game. Then they got flack for airing it live the second game because it's not a night game, it's a morning game. A 4 o'clock Eastern morning game, nobody's up yet. Well, if they had aired the other game live, it would have been at 4 in the morning. Hello?
But I think the problem is the Major League Baseball Network was playing a taped spring training game at the time a live regular season game was going on. It just did not make sense.
No. I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying the people who complained about it on both sides anyway. So you're not going to make the people who complained happy regardless of what you do. Should they have aired it live? Yes. And then just dealt with the flack on one day. We would have had this conversation if they'd done that.
We still would have because Major League Baseball screwed it up the second opening day. And that was in Miami. The new fish tank, the stadium looks awesome. I'm
beautiful. Very nice looking stadium.
And you know what? With that stadium in the background and those new Miami Marlin uniforms, when I first saw them, and you can attest, everybody on email, I said they were hideous, they were puke, they were trendy. But when you put them in that stadium, in that environment, it looked really good.
It's a Miami theme, and you look at those. When you look at them, you don't think, "Oh, South Dakota." No, you think, "Hey, it's a Miami look," and that works. I think it's brilliant. One of the better looking uniforms in the league.
And I like the fish tank in the background.
I'm just waiting for someone to foul it back.
I was wondering how, but they have to have extra thick glass.
They have to.
There's no way.
There's no other way around that.
There's no way that thing's going to get broken. And if it does, wow.
Yeah.
I want to be there when it happens.
Radar gun. I want to see what the radar gun says when that happens. It's a good thing Randy Johnson's not pitching anymore.
Well, that's you wouldn't have to worry about fish for Randy Johnson. You'd have to worry about the birds flying by.
That was funny.
That was beyond funny. But you go to Miami, and you've got this great stadium. And honestly, when I first saw the fish tank, I thought it was like behind, I don't know, MetLife Stadium in New York, where they have that scrolling marquee behind home plate. Wait, no, that's that lady that does the twirl behind home plate. Either case, every stadium now has that marquee behind home plate where it changes. Every half inning or whatever inning, it tells you a different advertiser. And I saw that fish tank, and I'm like, yeah, okay, what's it going to be the next inning? And sure enough, it's an actual fish tank. So that's pretty cool.
Well, actually, a lot of people haven't realized this. Do you know what it actually says when you're at the stadium?
No.
Nothing. It's a green screen.
Really?
In most cases. I mean, there are some ballparks that still have actual ads back there, but a lot of the times, it's a green screen.
Which is
put in post.
Which is perfect for...
That way the pitcher's background doesn't change and it doesn't screw up the game.
What's it matter? Pitchers, batters, does it matter?
It could. You never know.
It could, but we're on this Miami theme right now, and before we talk about opening weekend where the New York Mets swept the Atlanta Braves, the New York Yankees got swept by the Tampa Bay Rays, Boston's 0-3, before we go into that...
Oh, we just did.
Oh, okay, before we really dig deep into that, what is going on with Ozzie Guillen?
He's Ozzie Guillen. He's okay.
And I'm Chad Cetera, and you're Rob Steele.
And I've got a quote from Dale Murphy here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, it's Ozzie Guillen. He says some of the most... I think he has the same problem my daughter does, which is it comes out of your mouth, and you hear it later, and you go, did I say that? I really shouldn't have said that. What was I thinking? Actually, that's what he thinks. My daughter hasn't gotten quite to that point yet. Yeah, it's Ozzie. You just kind of go, oh, who? If it was, and I'm just going to throw this name out, and I know he died several years ago. If Billy Martin said that, yes, the planet must come to a screeching halt, and everyone goes, Billy Martin said that. Because, I mean, even Billy Martin said some off-the-wall crap, but nothing like this. But it's Ozzie Guillen, and you just kind of go, huh? Oh, well, it's Ozzie.
One, for those of you that are listening and going, what the heck are they talking about Ozzie Guillen? I believe he said he admires Fidel Castro, who is the communist leader, the communist president, or whatever you want to call them,
dictator
in Cuba. And he said he admires him. And no matter which way you look at it, can you defend Ozzie Guillen? I mean, it's things that he says. He's an idiot for saying anything that says Fidel Castro and the communist world, but to say he admires him for still being alive, is he comparing himself?
What I'm going to... The only thing I can think of is he might have been going for, it's impressive that he is still around and hasn't been killed yet. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but is he comparing
that
to...
to be said? No.
No, it doesn't. Is he comparing that to himself, though? It's impressive that he still has a job, that he hasn't been fired for being an idiot. I mean, he's been suspended and fined.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Guillen the one who took the White Sox to the World Series after 5 bajillion years of not winning?
Yes.
And they won it?
Yes. Okay,
so Ozzie Guillen gets, cut him some slack. He's a good manager. He's a bit nuts, but that's okay. You kind of need, some... Okay, Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan's a nut, Rex Ryan's a moron, and Rex Ryan would never say anything this stupid.
Brace yourself, Tebow's in New York now.
And we've heard some bits. Our own personal audio has heard some bits about Rex Ryan.
Jerry Jones has said some bizarre stuff. I'm trying to come up with a basketball person and blank Isaiah Thomas.
Charles
Barkley.
I mean, no doubt. But here's the thing. He's the manager of a team that is looking for the image of I don't know, you're trying to create a loyal fan base.
Hispanic-friendly.
In a market that has really been, 10, 15,000 fans average per game for the last 12 years, and you alienate 40% of the Miami population? Are you kidding me?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Is he going to get fired?
No, not over this. He's, again, reading way too much into it. I didn't even hear about it until the apology. And if I didn't hear about it until the apology, then it can't be that big a deal, and I really don't think it is. It's not Manny being Manny. It's Ozzy being Ozzy. Let's get back to the game.
Well, let's do that then. Let's get back to the game. We don't want to beat a dead horse, and we could sit there and say, Ozzie Guillen compared to Marge Schott, and we can go that angle. But let's get back to what they do best, and that's play baseball. And what other than the fact that Major League choked on its opening weekend, and by the way, if you're going to start your season on a Thursday, why in God's name are you getting off Friday? You screwed up, Bud Selig. Start your season on a Monday, give them off Tuesday, bring them back on Wednesday and Thursday, and then play a weekend series. I don't understand why you would want to do this, but this is Bud Selig. I digress. Let's go into the baseball. And let's talk about the number one player, I think, in Major League Baseball. You mentioned that this guy could be a Triple Crown winner, and having a guy bat number 4 behind him in the form of Prince Fielder, Miguel Cabrera. What a weekend. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs against the Red Sox. Wow, what a weekend.
Like I said, Miggy has been one of the best players in the game for a number of years now, actually. And I think he should have won an MVP award by now. Certainly over Verlander, but because he has put up.
Did you just go there?
Back when he was,
did you
yes,
just
I did.
Go there? Okay. I thought
when he was in Florida, he was putting up these kind of numbers, but did anyone know about him? No. Why? Because it was back when Florida, and no one knew anyone in Florida then. Goes to Detroit, gets bigger, which is kind of frightening because he's not small.
Everybody gets big in Detroit. You have to have the fat on your bones to stay warm.
That's true. And he's been putting up absolutely stellar numbers. Right now, I don't think he qualifies yet on the year part, but Hall of Famer, I think he's definitely headed in the right direction.
He's definitely a star. And to think that the third base thing would be an issue, after the first weekend against the Red Sox, as long as he's hitting home runs and he's hitting 5 of 11 and scoring 5 runs, having 8 RBIs, I think, a couple errors here and there at third base. I think Detroit...
They can put up with it. They've got the offense to cover it.
Detroit has nothing to worry about.
No,
in my opinion.
Not at all.
I mean, Jay Bruce, what a weekend he had. 3 home runs. Not as many RBIs, but, his 3 hits, 3 home runs, and the right fielder for Cincinnati. Jay Bruce, you heard the name a couple of years ago. Yeah. He died in my eyes. He just disappeared, and... Here comes Jay Bruce.
He faded. He went through the sophomore slump, and I think kind of a junior slump a bit. But yeah, he's back to.
Didn't he go to the Mets?
Freshman form? I'm sorry, what?
Didn't Jay Bruce go to the Mets? Oh wait, that's a different guy that went to the Mets and died. Like everybody on their team.
Everybody else.
But you know what? The Mets are 3-0, and that to me is a surprise. They shut out Johan Santana. What a great performance! Opening day, night, whatever it was. 1-0. He didn't get the win, but he pitched 5 shutout innings for a guy that was a stud in Minnesota, got traded to the Mets, signed this huge contract, and then got hurt last year. Santana...
And the year before. And
he's been hurt since he's been in New York.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, do the Mets get 60 wins this year? It's kind of...
Yes.
They're only 57 away.
They can trip over themselves the rest of the way, and they'll get it. They play Houston almost that many times. Yes, they'll get 60 wins.
Okay. They play Washington this first part of the week, so yeah.
That might be a more interesting series. Atlanta is not at full strength, so having them, they swept Atlanta in the first series. Yay, for them, I guess. The Yankees lost all 3 of their first 3 games. The Red Sox lost their first 3 games. Tampa has won all 3 of theirs. We haven't even gotten a full week into the season yet, and some people are in panic mode because they've lost 3 games or they've won 3 games or, oh no, our team is 2-1 or 1. Just shut up. It's the first week.
Okay, so there's no need for Red Sox fans to get put on suicide watch, call 911 and say, oh my God, we lost all 3 games to Detroit. That's no panic mode because,
I'm going to say this about this is a Yankee thing, and it's because I happen to know the numbers for it. The last time the Yankees started 0-3 was in '98. What happened in '98?
I think they won the World Series, didn't they?
Hey, what do you know? They won the World Series.
And there's another stat too. The last 5 times, actually 5 times, excluding this year, but the 5 times prior that the Kentucky Wildcats have won the NCAA men's basketball tournament, who's won the World Series?
I'm going to guess the Yankees.
The New York Yankees. So,
yeah. You went to college basketball, so it was just when it's a who wins the World Series, it's a safe bet to go with the Yankees.
You're probably, if you got a 50-50 chance of getting that right by just saying the Yankees.
Yeah, well, it's not the Mariners.
No, I don't think I've ever seen the Mariners in the World Series.
One of 2 teams to never go.
Oh, is that a trivia question for me?
It could have been.
Because, the only other team is the Houston Astros.
Nope. 2005, they're the one...
That's right.
Yeah, it was 5.
That's right.
Lost to the White Sox.
That's right. Because
Ozzy's White Sox. Ooh, full circle.
Oh, that is full circle. See, and now I would have no idea. Looking through everybody, the only other one I could think of, the Washington Nationals.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? I do know new baseball at some point. So,
of course, most of their life they were the Montreal Expos, who never went either, which is bizarre if you look back at some of their teams.
You look at their team that was in first place, and then Major League Baseball went on strike. That was the team that probably could have won it, 1993.
Yeah.
But we digress to the modern days for our young audience that's in here.
94. Yeah.
Speaking of young audience, Rob, you're close to the area, and it was pretty rocking this past weekend, and it was the Masters.
That's why I stayed home. Yeah, something you learn to do when you live in Augusta and it's Masters time is you either get out of town or you stay home.
And you stayed at home.
I stayed home.
And you
don't go anywhere.
I was amazed, everybody. My phone got a text. Actually, it was a phone call. It was about 6:30 on Sunday evening, and Rob's like, "Are you watching this?" I'm like, "Watching what?" He goes,
I didn't say, "What are you watching this?" I called you and said, you said you had tickets. Did you go?
Well, I didn't go. So, because
I was watching a baseball game. The bottom line said they're in a playoff hole. Fine. Chad's going to talk about this on the show. I'll watch it. Someone was there, looked like you. Is that Chad? I can't tell. They moved the camera. What is the deal with not having blimps in Augusta?
I don't know. They can't have blimps. They can't. You can't even have a phone there.
We can't have women either, apparently.
You can't have phones there either.
I get the phone thing. I do that because, he's walking up to the ball, ring, ring. And someone's phone goes off. I get that bit, but not having the blimps, it's not like it's gonna blot out the sun. Who cares? It's bright, it's sunny, it's Georgia. Hello.
Yeah, and it's springtime. And speaking of Georgia,
you could get lost in the clouds of pollen that float through.
Oh, the pollen around here is ridiculous, and I think the doctors are loving this time of year. I don't know, just saying, that's probably the case, but a local boy won the Masters tournament on the second playoff hole, and that being Bubba Watson.
Which is a good thing, because I couldn't pronounce the other guy's name.
You know what? He's so irrelevant now, it doesn't matter. Uhlstein or something like that.
He got an albatross on some hole.
Yeah, he got a 2. Uhlstein was the gentleman that was number 2 or finished runner-up in the playoff with Watson, had a 2, which is a double eagle on a par 5 hole. It's only the 4th time in Masters tournament history, and he doesn't have that. He's not in the playoffs. Speaking of doesn't have, if Phil Mickelson doesn't shoot a Chad-like 6 on a par 3, and it wasn't even a putt-putt par 3, it was a legit par 3, and Phil Mickelson shot a 6, he doesn't do that. Phil Mickelson, we're talking about him. But Jerry Lester Bubba Watson Jr., Masters tournament champion, first major tournament, and honestly, I went back and forth with Steven on this one, and the emotion that Watson showed after he won the tournament, it's a feel-good story.
I'm glad it was his mom that walked out, because I thought, is that his wife? And then she turned around, and I thought, she looks a bit old for him. I'm sorry, that is actually the first thing that ran through my mind. Anyway, okay, and I didn't catch this. Is he actually Bob Watson's kid?
No.
Okay, so much for relating it to one of the other golfers I've heard of.
I understand that. Now, but Bubba Watson, he played at the University of Georgia, so in 2000, 2001, the people there, felt for him. You could tell that the crowd was very into it. They were very into watching the lefty win this tournament. By the way, this is the 5th time in 9 years that a left-hander has won the Masters tournament. Before 2003, when Mike Weir won it, no left-hander had ever won the Masters tournament. I guess they were segregating against lefties at Augusta just like they do against women right now, too. So.
And God help you if you're a left-handed woman driving a blimp.
Because you have no chance.
Not going to do it at all.
But I mean, it was a great tournament. I mean, I feel bad that I didn't go. I would have loved to, but you know, it was Easter Sunday, and you and I both know, and we've discussed it. We've got families, and that watching Bubba Watson do what he did without his wife there, without his newborn son there, you know, that's where all the emotion came out. And to have somebody like that in golf, where it wasn't a Tiger Woods, where last week we talked Tiger Woods or the field. Steven was emphatic. It's the field. It's the field. I'll take the field. And Vince and I held our ground. We said we'd be stupid not to take Tiger Woods. Well, we were stupid to take Tiger Woods. That's for darn sure.
It was the field.
Yeah.
It was the field.
Yeah, it was the field, and it was Bubba Watson. Congratulations, Bubba Watson. Great round. He shot a 10 under for the tournament, won on the second hole of the playoff, which is a perfect segue to a sport that I hold dearly and true to my heart, and I know, Rob, you could care less about, or you just don't watch it at all.
I watch hockey.
Oh, it is hockey.
It is where you're going.
Yes, it is hockey
okay.
that we're talking about. The NHL playoffs.
Basketball's over, football's over. He must be talking hockey.
The NHL playoffs are upon us. And before we get to the NHL playoffs, congratulations to Boston College. The Eagles won their 5th national title, defeating Ferris State. It's like watching Butler playing the basketball championships. But Boston College beats Ferris State 4-1 in Tampa. Okay.
You came so close to saying they beat Ferris Bueller, didn't you?
I came very close to saying Ferris Bueller. but Ferris State took the day off in the national championship game. Boston College wins their 5th national championship with a 4-1 victory, so congratulations to them. The NHL playoffs are now upon us, and the seedings are there. Vancouver Canucks won their 2nd straight President's Trophy. They open up against the Los Angeles Kings. The St. Louis Blues play against the San Jose Sharks. The Phoenix Coyotes play against the Chicago Blackhawks. And in what I think will be one of the better 2 matchups in the first round, the Western Conference 4 seed, the Nashville Predators. First time in franchise history they are a higher seed in the first round of the playoffs. They host the big bad Detroit Red Wings, who won 21 straight home games during the season. That, to me, has rivalry written all over it. One of the first games that we get to see on Wednesday.
Same division and everything. That's going to be a great game.
They've got
series.
They've got
great series.
4 teams in that division. There's only 5 teams in that division, Columbus Blue Jackets being the other. But St. Louis finished with 109 points. Then you've got the Predators, who finished 104. Detroit finished with 102. Chicago finished with 101. And they're the 2, 4, 5, and 6 seeds. It would be awesome to just see that whole division just explode throughout the Western Conference. I don't want to see Vancouver in the finals again. Then honestly, I think the winner of the Detroit-Nashville series has a really legitimate chance at being running through the Western Conference, making it to the Stanley Cup. Who knows?
I think that would be great. I'd like to say I can see it happening, but I can't.
I saw Buffalo in the playoffs, so yeah, I can feel that one for you. But I mean, one of the traditions, and first let's go to the Eastern Conference. The New York Rangers, they're the number 1 seed. The Ottawa Senators are the 8th seed. Boston wins their division. They're the number 2 seed. They play against the Washington Capitals, who beat out my team, the Buffalo Sabres, in the last 2 games of the season. They are the 7th seed. They snuck ahead of Ottawa to get up to play against Boston, which I think is more favorable for the Capitals. Watch out, the defending Stanley Cup champions have a tough matchup this year in the first round with the Capitals, being that the Boston Bruins. The number 3 seed, the Florida Panthers, really? They play hockey down in Florida? I guess they do. They're hosting New Jersey. Martin Brodeur is, I think, 1,000 years old, still playing. I think New Jersey has a great chance there. And in the other matchup, the Battle of Pennsylvania, Sidney Crosby is back, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are the number 4 seed. They play against Danny Briere and the big bad Philadelphia Flyers. I love that match.
Now, bear with me. Isn't Jaromir Jagr still a Flyer?
Jaromir Jagr is still a Flyer. He used to play for the Penguins.
Just to add a little bit of interstate rivalry or something. I don't know.
I think
just thinking out loud.
It's a great matchup, and that's where the playoffs start on Wednesday on the NBC Sports Network. You get to see Sidney Crosby. I've watched Sidney Crosby play live one time in my life, and it was the greatest spectacle on ice I've ever seen. And I've seen Mario Lemieux, I've seen Wayne Gretzky, but to see Sidney Crosby play, this kid has raw talent that I think can lead Pittsburgh into the Stanley Cup Finals. I think Pittsburgh, in my eyes, is the favorite in the East. I would love to see a Pittsburgh-Nashville Finals. I don't think I'm going to get that lucky to see it. I can bet you, though, that it's going to be Pittsburgh. Who knows? Whoever has the ugliest, nastiest, most unshaved beard come the end of May, yeah. If you see any of these guys, that's a hockey tradition. Hey, if my team was in there, I'd start my beard now. But, it would take me 2 months just to get a couple whiskers on the chin. But, I digress into that one.
The Barbasol commercial that they've been overplaying about having, what is it, the guy shoots puck, goalie catches puck, goalie is girl who then shaves guy. Huh? And then, who wants the next shave? And if you look at this, I just wanted to point this out, because he gets covered up very quickly by the graphics. There's a guy in the front with his can of Barbasol going, ooh, ooh, me, who looks like he's 6, maybe 7 years old. Doesn't need to shave yet.
No.
Get him out of the... Everyone else has got the funky ZZ Top, I'm in the playoffs beard thing going. Except for this one kid down front going, put it on Teletubbies. I mean, shave me. I don't know what they were thinking when they created that particular spot.
The joys to have kids, because you mentioned Teletubbies on Sports Gym.
Yeah, why not?
I love it. And speaking of Teletubbies, the most watched show I should say the longest running cable series right now, you said you might not watch it anymore. You have the former UFC champion back, Rob, and wrestling's your bed. What's I know we normally do this in overtime, and we talked about this before the show started. We're blending overtime together because you normally wouldn't talk about hockey, and I normally wouldn't talk about wrestling. But Brock Lesnar's back in wrestling. What's going on?
And I don't care. They need ratings because they haven't realized that John Laryngitis and Michael Cole are killing the WWE. I've been what little wrestling I've been able to watch at the house has been muted because I can't take listening to Michael Cole. And I can't take listening to John Laryngitis. And don't write in and tell me I'm mispronouncing his name. Have you heard him talk? It makes more sense to call him John Laryngitis. Have you heard him, Chad?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
He is. He's horrible. And he's got his little sidekick, David Otunga.
He has the same charisma as, I don't know, I've got a toothpick on my desk. That'll do. He makes the girl from the Twilight movies look like she can act.
Wow. A shot at Kristen Stewart.
Okay, I don't know her name.
My child's a preteen. I know all about the Twilight movies.
Oh, I'm sure I could have come up with her name eventually, but oh god,
she was still relevant there at the time.
None of the above can act. I would much rather see Ozzie Guillen talking about Castro in the ring than have to listen to either of them talk about anything that they think might be related to the, and I'll put this in bunny rabbit quotes, sport that they promote. It's hideous, and I don't care if Lesnar's. Frankly, I didn't care for Lesnar the first time around. I watched him on YouTube. Take that, WWE. I watched him do the come out thing where John Cena's in the ring, apologize. Oh, I lost at WrestleMania. Yeah, shut up, don't care. Brock Lesnar came out, gave him his finishing move, the dreaded F5, which I think wasn't that the name of the car in Speed Racer? No, it was the Mach 5. The F5. See, I brought it back to the Barbasol commercial. That was a razor that Norelco put out. It's an absolute. It's not even a good move, which is why I prefer the TNA Impact Wrestling, because if you watch them. If God help you if you sit through one of their skits, but if you get two guys in the ring, a lot of the time the wrestling in Impact, they'll use WWE finishing moves as like this just a mid-match. I think I'll hit him with this move, and then they come up with these absolutely mind-blowing finishers.
Well, isn't one of the things though about WWE? It's all about World Wrestling. Entertainment. Now,
well, the thing is, it's not entertaining anymore.
I mean, and that's the thing, and I don't understand the whole Brock Lesnar thing. And I'm glad you said you're not going to be interested, because the guy has no microphone skills. And the fact that we went for the last 13 months listening to probably, no doubt in my mind, the two best microphone entertainers that Vince McMahon brings out there, and that being John Cena and Dwayne Johnson. I mean, when you take
Jericho was good back in the day, but he's not as good.
He's never. Nobody's as close as these two guys, and they just the smack talk is ridiculous. Then okay, how are we going to top that? We're going to bring back a guy that has world-renowned fame,
fighting skill.
And no doubt he was a UFC champion. I wouldn't want to meet him in an alley, but put a microphone
or anywhere else for that matter.
Put a microphone in front of me, put a microphone in front of him, and I guarantee I slap him silly with the microphone.
The rumor that I've been hearing is that they're going to be bringing back Paul Heyman as his manager.
Now there's your microphone skills.
There's your mic skills.
And for those that don't know Paul Heyman,
look him up. He was that good and started ECW, not WWECW.
F&W.
There you go.
Okay.
Back in the day. And if they bring him back, I might try to put up with colon laryngitis, but if we can just
you bring him
give
back.
Cole laryngitis.
Here we go.
I don't know.
I'm going to ask the question because I've been seeing it on Twitter a lot. You bring Paul Heyman back. Do you bring back Joey Styles?
No, that's not going to happen. As much as a lot of people would like to see it happen, I can't see it happen.
Too much bad blood there.
There is way too much. What I would like, I wouldn't object. I'm going to start a whole bunch of crap over this.
Email is therealsportsgym@gmail.com. Start your crap, Rob.
If the WWE buys TNA, which the way it's going, unfortunately, may be inevitable, use Impact's announcers.
Yes.
Get rid of... Have someone... better yet...
Have ESPN buy Michael Cole like they did Jonathan Coachman.
Well, then we couldn't watch ESPN. Have an announcers battle. Who's going to win in a match of the announcers, Mikey Cole or Taz?
Yeah.
Who is announcing for TNA now. And I'd like to see Taz rip his head off. Or... if it's a tag team match, have Jerry Lawler accidentally rip Cole's head off, and then look at Taz and go, oops, I guess you win, and you're my partner now, and they go back and announce. That would be brilliant.
That would be...
Is it going to happen? It's not going to happen. But I just want to get rid of Mikey Cole, because, God, he's more annoying than the Teletubbies.
And on that note, Sports Jam next week will hopefully be brought to you with the full, the full version with
brought to you by the letters T and
how about
A.
How about the letters S and V? And Stephen and Vince will be back next week.
Yeah, that too.
We are going to debate finally Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin III, and start our NFL mock draft. Sports Jam will be back next week with another knockout episode. But until then,
follow us on Twitter at TRSportsJam, friend us on Facebook, or email us at therealsportsjam@gmail.com.
Thank you to our sponsor, the Danny Nagy Band. Until next week, Sports Jam, we're out.